Okinawa is the southernmost prefecture in Japan. It's actually made up of about 150 smaller islands, the largest of which is the island of Okinawa. Okinawa is not a large island. In fact, with an area of only 2,281 square kilometers, it is less than 7.5% the size of Vancouver Island. Okinawa is perhaps best known as the home to about 27,000 U.S. military personnel. But it is not home to just Okinawans and Americans. There are some Canadians. And one of them just happens to own and operate a bar, and at the same time, sing vocals in a cyberpunk band. Today in the Canadian Expat, we go to Okinawa to have a beer. If you were walking down the street in Okinawa and saw this foreigner, you would be mistaken, so mistaken, if you thought that he was from the U.S. military base. Besides the beard and unmilitaristic haircut, this foreigner is from Saskatchewan. I'm delighted to welcome Remy Malavi, or better known in Okinawa as Remy. Remy is the owner and operator of a bar in Naha, appropriately named Remy's. He's also the vocals behind the hard-rocking cyberpunk band High Tech Low Life. Remy, welcome to the Canadian Expat.
Thank you. Good to be on the show.
Remy, when did you first get to Okinawa and what brought you there?
I came in 2003, February 26, 2003, and I was 19 years old. I went to university for about a year and then decided I wasn't into it. I didn't know what I didn't have any specific goals. I was just going to university just because it was the next thing to do. So I stopped and I decided, I want to go somewhere. I want to get out of the prairies because I didn't like, 6-7 months of winter, every year. And now that I was old enough, I was like, all right, I can choose where I want to go. Where am I going to go? Right. So I went and I looked for, what are my options? I was, 18, 19 years old and didn't have a degree, didn't have money. So my only marketable skill was that I could speak English. So it was, I went to teach and travel, a TESOL program, and I'd seen in the newspaper and I took the course. You could choose from, all kinds of different countries in the world that would, that had positions for English teachers. So I was looking, at first my idea was I'm just going to, go for a year, work, save some money, figure out what I want to do, see, I was still a teenager, see, how I feel when I grow up a little bit more and, then come back and go back to university. So I was looking at what were the top countries that, paid the most, so I could come back with money for university. And it was the top three were Saudi Arabia, South Korea, and Japan. Yeah, so I came here and I didn't know about Okinawa at the time. But when I was looking for jobs online, one of the schools that I applied to was in Okinawa. And when I researched what Okinawa, what it was, and it said it was a subtropical island south of Japan. So that word subtropical was really, what sold me on it. That it's like, okay, wait, subtropical, that means it doesn't snow. So I was like, okay, yeah, of course, I'm going to go there. Yeah.
And then you decided to open up a bar.
So when I first got here, I was an English teacher and I did that for about 5 years or so. And at that point, after, working for about 5 years, I'd saved up some money. And this is when I was getting, I was into my mid-20s and I was like, all right, I want to get a university degree and I want to be done before I'm 30, right? So I wanted to do that while I was still in my 20s. And I was looking, at different options. And since I was already here, in Okinawa, and I'd spent a lot of time learning Japanese as well, I decided I'm going to go to a university in Japan and I'll get a degree while I'm here. So I went to, I did a pre-college program, and then I went to one of the schools here and got a degree in business administration. So I did a 4-year degree here. And then when I was in my last year, I was doing an internship at, at the same time, I was also working part-time on base as a bartender. And that was, I hadn't had, because I lived down south where there wasn't a lot of Americans, I didn't really interact with a lot of Americans at all during that time. But when I was working on base, it was a good part-time job because you were making a regular hourly wage, plus you were making tips on top of that. So it was a great job for, when I was in university. But I also enjoyed it, because I was able to talk to a lot of different people and hear a lot of different experiences, because they're coming in from, all over the world, doing all kinds of different jobs. And a lot of people had been, traveling a lot of places. And I just found it interesting to talk to a lot of different people and stuff like that. And so I was like, all right. During my one of my last years, right before, while I was writing my graduation paper, one of the regulars at that job told me about a place that was for sale. So I decided, yeah, I'm going to buy this place, and when I'm going to I'll graduate, and this is going to be what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go down the hospitality, hotel business administration, marketing road at all. I'm going to do this because then I can do everything my own way, right? So I went, maybe within a week, and I went, I bought the place, and I really got into it. I really, really enjoyed, the live music, right? And so I'd spent a lot of time, just working on the sound system and learning about that. And eventually, after about 2 years or so, almost 3 years of running Fujiyama, that's when I decided to open another place. And that's, when I chose to do it in my own name, because I would be, kind of rebuilding it from, the ground up, not taking over business someone else had established. So, I spent about 6 months, doing construction there, and then opened that in the end of 2014.
And of course, right now we're in the heat of COVID-19, so things are not going well for anybody in the world at this point. No,
Oh, it's not.
No.
Except for like mask manufacturers, maybe.
Right, perhaps. So we certainly hope that things get back to normal quickly for you in the next little while.
Yeah.
So you're also the lead singer,
Yeah.
vocals of High Tech Low Life.
Right.
And it's an awesome band, amazing energy. I'm going to play a little bit of a clip here. A little bit of a different sound, clearly, cyberpunk, but it looks like you've got some success as well. You had a European tour,
Yep.
which is amazing.
Yeah, that was a really that was a unique experience. That was a lot of fun, and it was really interesting the way that happened. High Tech Low Life, at that time, we had been a band for less than a year, and we'd gotten an offer to play in Europe. There was an anime convention in the Netherlands called Abunaikon, and every year they have a theme. And this year, or that year, last year, the theme was cyberpunk, and their subtitle for the event, they always have their Abunaikon is like the title of the event, and they have a subtitle for, depending on the theme, and their subtitle was High Tech Low Life. And so we based our tour around that, got 5 other shows, in the 2-week time frame that we were there. And yeah, it was a really amazing experience.
I'm going to put a link to your bar in the description.
Okay.
If anybody happens to be visiting Okinawa, I urge you to go to Remy's. I'm sure it'll be a fantastic time. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to catch the band as well. Before we go, Remy, I've got 6 questions for you. I've got 6 things that I would like you to rate where you live on, which is, of course, Okinawa. The idea behind this is that of course, we understand that is entirely subjective, but anybody that might be considering the move to Okinawa may be able to take a look at this and may perhaps be able to judge sort of the quality of life from some of these ratings. I know this is a surprise to you, but between 1 and 10, rate healthcare in Okinawa.
Healthcare in Okinawa. Not amazing, but not bad. It's not expensive. It's all right. I guess I would say 4.
4. Okay. Great.
I don't know. That's just a subjective scale. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's fine,
absolutely. No problem.
It's not, things feel a little bit dated, but it's not expensive, and there's no lines. You just go to the hospital whenever you want,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Friendliness.
6 or 7. Yeah, it's a fairly friendly place. You're not gonna get any kind. Yeah, people are friendly. Just in general. There's you won't find a lot of people who are just like over the top, just really want to help and stuff like that. But people are just friendly in general. You don't have any kind of negativity really about just going out and stuff like that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What about community of other expats?
I think it's probably pretty strong out here. I think because there's a lot of different people. There's a lot of different expat communities as well. There was, when I lived in Naha, there was a large community of English teachers, and there's of course the whole military community, and now because they have a university out here, now there's another community of, I guess, people who are working at the university, whether it's as researchers or students or teachers. It's like I think Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology. So now there's a lot of different backgrounds for the expats out here now, and it's a really good mix. I think 7, 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Access back to Canada.
Access to Canada. It's, let's see, not great, I guess, because it's quite a long flight. It's 14 hours roughly. It's I don't go back very often. It's an expensive flight, and it's it's a long one at the same time. So I guess 2 or 3.
Okay, low. Okay, relatively low. Okay. Access to the food that you love. Again, I understand this is subjective, but access to the food that you love.
I've never had any problems, finding good food out here. The only thing, I guess now you can order stuff online. It's not a big deal, but when I first got here, because I started getting, when I really started getting into weightlifting and working out, it was hard to find kind of health products or stuff like that. Certain like oatmeal or protein powder, things like that were a little bit harder to find. That's a bit of a very specific scenario. Right now, I don't have anything that I'm like, oh, I wish I could have this, wish I could have that. Also, because there's U.S. bases here, you can get a lot of Western, food products. Somehow, if you know someone who can shop on base, something like that. So it's pretty good out here. I would say 8.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And the last one, the service that you receive from a Canadian consulate or embassy.
There isn't one out here. It's in Tokyo, and I haven't been there myself. Just had to send, when I do paperwork for the passport. So I haven't really had any direct experience with that. Just, I guess 5.
Okay.
Just normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm sure, again, this will help others that are looking at possibly relocating to Okinawa as either a place to live or as someplace to go as a recreation spot for a while. So again, Remy, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Much appreciated.
No, thank you.
And thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Until next time.